They broke every law that there is to break. They tried to make it look like this was a CPS case, you know, it has rules and guidelines and everything. They broke all of them. They didn't think that they had to follow any of the laws. They didn't think they had to follow them with regard to international law, with colluding with Canada, and they didn't think that they had to follow any of the domestic laws either. So by this time, they're just throwing me around, taking my son, torturing him, pretty much doing whatever they want, and they're not going by any kind of law book at all. There is no, there's no Bible in the courthouse. You know, nobody's putting their hand on the Bible and swearing anymore, and if they did, as I'm sure Dennis did at some point in his life, he's a liar, and he'll lie with his hand on the Bible. I mean, a hand on the Bible, that means nothing to him anyway. He doesn't believe in God. He believes in getting perks for himself and for his friends. And there is no Bible in the sense of a law rule book. You know, rules of civil procedure, rules of administrative procedure, rules of family law. Well, it's like this is what they did to the rules of family law. Well, okay, so what are we going to do, guys? You going to the casino tomorrow? Okay, well, you can pay me then. But, what do you think? These people were like frickin' outlaws. And that's the kind of law that that I've seen in this great country called the United States. And they claim that everything is going smoothly. Things, really, if you just have a little problem here or there, you have an appeal. No, these are like enormous problems. These are not problems that you appeal. These are problems that the FBI is supposed to investigate because it's public corruption. But the problem is that when the FBI is a corrupt agency, or when they have most of the people who are running the FBI taking bribes and acting corruptly, you don't get the law enforcement to investigate, to come in and investigate and take care of the state judges and the local lowlifes. They don't care. I mean, so basically, that is really what they were doing. You know, it's just like, what's this? Her file? I don't need that. Did you need that tape? Okay, well, let's just throw that out. Let's get well. Well, I really didn't like this drawing. Do you guys have anything that you need to get rid of? Because I'm getting rid of a shredder, and if you need help organizing your offices, your law offices, let me know. And if I look like I'm nuts right now, just kind of acting out what they did, that is exactly what they did. They made the justice system look like crap. I mean, it is... Here, oh, wait, here we go. Hi, guys. You want to have lunch after court? Okay, well, come on over to my place, Castle, because I got something for you there. Oh, yeah, you'll like it. And you like her. I think well, you like the ones, yeah. Oh, yeah, she's a good one. Okay. Well, did you take care of that file? And have you called Anne, Mary Ann? Okay. Just make sure that Cameo does not get a hold of her file at any time. And how is it going with Tony? Has he visited the family yet? The Outlaws? What about the police? Have they gone up there and done a little roughing him up? Okay, well, I'll see what I can do about that. And then, that's what they do. Oh, to the surveillance. Oh, oops. Looks like we don't have any kind of documentation of Dr. Parnell's wife, or nurse, sorry. Dr. Parnell's nurse lying and making false claims to CPS to say that I was showing up in the emergency room without my son, and where is my son because he's endangered by me. But all of a sudden, the police don't want to do any kind of investigation of it, and they also, they have no idea where where this video surveillance is. And oh, it's just running surveillance. Nobody records anything or saves anything on a tape anywhere. It's just running surveillance. Police aren't going to do anything about it. Okay, so by the time I get to this crazy hearing where these people are making a mockery of the entire United States, and after I've been tortured, because you know what, that whole clown thing, that's what Leon Panetta wears as he tortures people. I mean, this entire country is a laughing stock because of the horrid things that they do. And what, they're taking money from different people. Even if they take money from other countries, I think that they're not laughing at you at the same time. I mean, they're laughing. They're laughing at maybe me and having their own objectives met. But they don't have any respect for people who act like that. So when I see something like this, okay, and what I had expected was a solemn, very serious and well-organized, lawful court hearing, when I think that might at least happen, which is a crazy idea because it was totally illegal what they did with me and my son in Canada, because Canada had a bunch of clowns who looked exactly like the Dennis clown and the Gerald clown. When you have people who have already done that, when I already had people do that to me in Canada, I don't know why I thought it might be different and why they would stop colluding against me in Washington State. I think I just thought they have to be worried that somebody's going to look in over their shoulder and then maybe hold them accountable for what they are doing. But no, as long as they know that the FBI isn't going to do anything, they don't care. So basically, he hung up the phone after I had sent them all of these emails trying to get help, or trying to get a straight answer, and asking them to send my file to me, and then they take my son from me. And then the first thing that they did was make sure that he got assigned a social security number for this goddamn country. At that point, if he's going to break all of these other laws, and the Department of State and FBI are going to break all of these other laws, and please stand by as I'm raped after they bring along their person knowing that I'm incapacitated. Yeah, you can go ahead and rape her now. Oh, and yeah, and then my counselor just happens to have a huge conflict of interest by being connected to the FBI. You add all those things together, and I, of course, was it reasonable for me to think that, oh my gosh, the next thing that they're going to do is, if they can just break all the laws and do whatever they want, the next thing they'll do is, they won't even follow any laws or even have me evaluated for whether I'm mentally ill or not. They'll just throw me, this judge is crazy enough, he will sign an order and have me admitted to Eastern Hospital, which is a psychiatric institute in the state of Washington. And I felt very sure that at that point he was capable of doing something like that. He would sign an order have me admitted to Eastern Hospital involuntarily, and then my fate would be sealed. I had different people say, no, nobody would ever do that. They can't do that. Why would they do that? Well, they can't do that just like Gerald Warren can't keep kites, legal documents, out of the record, just like Judge Paul Lipscomb over in Oregon can't take evidence out of the file and keep it from the public, and, you know, can't, and withholds it from the federal file. Okay, can't is completely different from they're not supposed to. So they're not supposed to, and it's against the law. But can they? Yes, they can. And they basically showed me all of the things that they can do and that they have done. And not one single judge or individual has ever been held accountable or investigated for anything. So at that point, I knew I was not safe in the state of Washington, and that the next thing they would do, if they had already slandered me to Canadians as being, or jointly with Canadians as being paranoid schizophrenic, and here they are committing all these additional crimes, the next thing they would want to do to cover up for all of their additional crimes is to discredit me as being paranoid schizophrenic. So I had hardly any money, and I basically hitchhiked. I pretty much packed my bag right then and there. I got the phone call ended, and I had absolute panic. I had absolute panic. Over what this horrible country is going to do to me next. And I was stupid enough to think that it wasn't a larger problem than just Oregon and Washington. I was still thinking maybe this military stuff that had happened was just isolated to one area or one state. And they were going from Washington to Oregon to do these things. I thought it was possible it was some other kind of trigger, but I didn't really think that the United States was involving the parts of the federal government as a whole against me. So I didn't really understand that going to a different state, again, wasn't going to make a difference. But I thought, well, there was this place that I had been talking to. I had found out that according to the kind of torture that my son and I were suffering from, there were only 2 places in the entire world, at least whose language I could read online. It was a place in France, and there was a military place on the East Coast that did blood assays, ASSAYS. It's basically like a culture. You know, they take your blood and then they analyze it. And they can find out, because basically the different forms of torture that occurred to us can break down your and alter your DNA structure, at least temporarily. It will show up for at least 6 months after the torture, and the technology has been directed against you. So I was sure that if my blood labs were already showing extremely low potassium and some other strange abnormalities that weren't really in keeping with my normal physical health. I was sure that somebody would find something that would prove without any shadow of a doubt and give me evidence that I had been tortured. And so France said that they would do that, and then I never heard anything from the military place, but I didn't realize that the military was involved.